It don't matter even if it's a notify.
Okay, that's all right. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Uh, how is everyone doing? Hope you're doing okay.
Yep, I am doing good. I gotta say, yeah,
That's
it's a
good.
good day.
I'm doing great myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing great myself. Hey, dog is here
Dog is
already.
here. Yeah,
Hey,
first.
dog,
Hi.
dog. Are you still in Norfolk or have
My
you
fault.
moved yet? Please let us know. My auntie just sent me a text. I'm just responding to her text.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, dog is here. So, this live stream is actually a special request by
Mm-hmm.
someone who, uh, a very good friend of the channel, Parilla Time.
Mm-hmm.
Parilla Time said, "Have you seen by any chance?" No, was it Perilla? No, it wasn't Perilla Time. It was Steve McRae manager. I
Steve
apologize. It
McRae.
was Steve
Yeah.
McRae, yes, that said, do you know anything about cargo cults? And I'm thinking, cargo cults? I don't know anything about cargo cults. What's this about? So he said, go check it out. And I think he put a link
Mm-hmm.
in the stream. So I had a look. And all this while I've been thinking, okay, one of these days we will come and do something
Okay.
on cargo cults. If Steve McRae manager had not told me about cargo cults, it was a non-existent thing as far as I am concerned. I didn't know about it at all. Never heard of it. So thank you, Steve McRae. Right. We have Lilith. Lilith, every time Lilith
Yeah.
always say to live for. What does to live for mean? What does that mean to live for? I'm KD Bodro. Hello, good to see you. Queen and Phil Wagwan. All good. All good.
All good. All good.
You've read about it. No, I didn't know anything about it.
Uh,
I didn't know. It says I'm special. Of course you are. Of
mm,
course you are special. Well,
um,
special, but also a troublemaker. So Phil, put an eye on him. Let's put an eye on him, okay?
on Steve.
Right. Make sure to put an eye on Steve McQuay manager. But we love him. We love him. Absolutely
Yeah.
love him. Okay. Right. So, first things first, what we're going to do. So, I didn't have a clue about this, but Phil does know a little bit about.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we're going to do, first things first, we're going to have a quick search on
Mm-hmm.
Google. What's this about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a look at cargo cults, right? Let's
Mm-hmm.
see. Um, okay, why am I
All right.
seeing
But
all
by
this?
you search, and I can tell you, I'll give you a brief overview. Uh,
Okay.
19 during the World War II,
Mm-hmm.
close to the end of around 19 in the 1940s, mid to the close to the end of World War II. This Pacific island, I can't remember the name of the Pacific island, but it will be mentioned in the video. There are these people, indigenous people that live on that island, and the United States set up a base on the island,
Yeah.
and what they did, United States brought in utensils and stuff that these persons never seen before,
Before. Right.
right? And they set up this airfield, and the
Melanesia? Is it Melanesia?
yeah, Melanesia, right? And so when the war was over, the United States pulled out, and but remember the United States was bringing stuff cargo
Right.
continuously uh, at the time when they were there and giving these people utensils and other things. So then when the
Oh.
United States left,
Right.
um, these people thought that okay, we are going to continue getting these things. We are going to set up uh, um, uh, at the old base. We will set up a tower,
A tower.
a
Right.
similar tower, and
Right.
hopefully the more cargo should come.
Will come.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that's just the
wow.
basic essence of it. So they started and some legendary um the guy's name was associated with our mythical guy who was supposed to be this soldier, United
Mm.
States soldier called John from
From.
yeah from, and they're not sure whether or not they say he's mythical or legendary. Mythical, I think, more mythical. So
Wow.
out of that, that's the beginning of the cargo cult
This cargo cult.
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So let's have a
See?
little read of this before we watch the video. So 50 years ago, the cargo cults of Melanesia,
Yeah, right.
right? So throughout Melanesia, primitive men await a black messiah who will
Messiah.
bring them a
Lagris of cargo.
lagers of cargo, so European goods. And
Mm-hmm.
these cults typify the impact of Christendom on pre-modern so these
Yeah.
cults typify the impact of Christianity, this
Mm-hmm.
Christianity
See?
again,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
The impact of Christendom on pre-modern society.
Mm-hmm.
So patrols of the Australian government venturing into uncontrolled central highlands of New Guinea in 1946 found the
Mm-hmm.
primitive people there swept up in a wave of religious excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Prophecy was being fulfilled. The arrival of the whites was a sign that the end of the world was at hand. The natives proceeded to
Mm-hmm.
butcher all of their pigs, the pigs' animals that were not only a principal source of subsistence, but also symbols of social status and
Mm-hmm.
ritual preeminence in their culture. They killed these valued animals in expression of the belief that after 3 days of darkness, great pigs, great pigs would appear from the sky. Food, firewood, and other necessities had to be stockpiled to see the people through to the arrival of the great pigs. Mock wireless antenna of bamboo and rope had been erected to receive in advance the news of the millennium. Many believed that with the great event, they would exchange their black skin for white skins. These people were going to exchange their black skins for white ones. This bizarre episode is by no means a single event of its kind in the murky history of the collision of European civilization with the indigenous cultures of the Southwest Pacific. For more than 100 years, traders and missionaries have been reporting similar disturbances among the people of Melanesia, the group of Negro inhabited islands, including New Guinea, Fiji, the Solomons, and the New Hebrides, lying between Australia and the open Pacific Ocean. Though their technologies were based largely upon stone and wood, these people had highly developed cultures as measured by, oh wow. So they were nonetheless ill prepared for the shock of the encounter with the whites, a people so radically different from themselves and so infinitely more powerful. The sudden transition from the society of the ceremonial stone AX to the society of sailing ships and now of airplanes has not been easy to make. So basically, this is people who they were just in their own little uh, hometown, their own doing life until these European people somehow found their way there. And now these people start to worship these. I'm really not getting it. Hopefully, the video will. So they were expecting a Messiah, and the Messiah will come, and at the present order of creation. Ah, so this creation, as they knew it, will end, and then they will take on white skins and not black ones. Interesting. Wow. Hey, bro, guy. Good to see you. Okay, so guys, wow. This is interesting. Cargo cults. The magician is God. Had let's see, had no idea of the industrial war machine in America that was manufacturing all of these different goods that they had never seen before. So it must have been a god. Okay. Ansel Archives, hello, good to see you. Okay, guys, let's while we're waiting for Phil, I'm sure Phil wouldn't mind. Um just 1 second. Get the video. Cargo cults. This is very interesting. Okay, so let's go and have a look here. Share. John Froome and the Cargo cults.
The world's most unique cultures tend to pop up in areas that were isolated for thousands of years. One place where this particularly rings true is in the Pacific Islands. Many of these
Okay.
island nations knew only each other until they were exposed to the rest of the modern world in the past couple of centuries. For many of those countries, the first contact with outsiders led to justified yet strange reactions from the locals. This is particularly true of the John Frum movement, a sort of religion in vanity. While the religion teaches morality and tradition, like many other belief systems, the John Frum movement is unique in its rituals, which draw heavily on the American military, which showed up in the islands during World War II. One component of this religion is that believers say that their messiah figure, John Frum, will drop wealth and prosperity from the heavens. This motif of God sending material gifts from above can be seen in many religions, yet the idiosyncrasies found within the John Frum movement led anthropologists to label it a cargo cult. At one time, the phrase was used to explain just about every Pacific island's spiritual reaction to colonization. Today, though, anthropologists point out that the reality is much more complicated than that. But what exactly is a cargo cult? And what are the characteristics of the John Frum movement that make it stand out so much? Well, let's explore. Vanuatu is a small nation of islands in the South Pacific, about 2,000 kilometers east of Australia. It had a brief stint under joint French-British colonial rule. But travel there today, and you'll find few references to the former colonial powers. In fact, on the 15th of February each year on the island Tanna, a portion of the population put on US Army fatigues, raise the American flag, and perform strict military drills. The men fold the flag with the precision and reverence typically reserved for a formal color guard. Elsewhere on the islands, men stand on makeshift landing strips waving flashlights at no one in particular. There are no working planes at this airport, just a replica made of straw. Other mock soldiers sit on rickety flight decks with poorly recreated radios and a set of binoculars. Despite their lack of proper military technology, the men are clearly well versed in the mechanics of their acts. But it's not make-believe. It's a religious ritual of sorts for followers of the John From movement. The John From movement's long tradition on the island of Tanna has long held the fascination of outsiders, particularly Americans, due to its mimicry of the US military. Today, the movement has broken into a handful of sects, each with similar beliefs and teachings, yet still many differences. To understand how the belief system works today, we must rewind about 100 years, back to its founding when Vanuatu and the island Tanna was still part of the New Hebrides, populated almost entirely by the local Melanesian people. At the time, the small island had recently come under the British and French Empire's joint control.
Okay.
Shortly after the two...
Right. So, these people were just on their own, just minding their business when these colonizers found their way there. Ugh. Right? Am I right in saying that? For some psychological reason, we are compelled to create gods in the absence of knowledge. So these people decide that they, find their way here. So, okay, let's carry on. Is it just me, or is the video going a bit too fast? I think the video is going a bit too fast for my liking. I will slow it down. It's on normal speed, but it's a bit too fast for me. So let's see the origins.
Countries' navies arrived, Christian missionaries followed. These missionaries forcibly converted the local populations, casting aside the alliance.
Let's see what this...
Any differences. To understand how the belief system works today, we must rewind about 100 years, back to its founding when Vanuatu and the island Tanna was still part of the New Hebrides, populated almost entirely by the local Melanesian people. At the time, the small island had recently come under the British and French Empire's joint control. Shortly after the two countries' navies arrived, Christian missionaries followed. These missionaries forcibly converted the local populations, casting aside the alive...
Guys, did you hear that? These Christian missionaries forcibly converted the locals. Now that is something that just frustrates me. When I hear about the things that were done in the name of this religion called Christianity, it's so bothersome. You go to a different part of the world, nothing to do with you. Because you have this religion, you have your guns, your planes, and now you forcibly convert people to you. And they'll tell you, oh, Christianity, that's a good religion. It's peaceful. And you're forcibly converting people to your religion. I'll take that back again. I need to hear that
populated almost entirely by the local Melanesian people. At the time, the small island had recently come under the British and French Empire's joint control. Shortly after the two countries' navies arrived, Christian missionaries followed. These missionaries forcibly converted the local populations, casting aside the lifestyle and customs that had permeated throughout the island chain for hundreds of years,
Mm-mm.
known as cast-on in the local language. The Melanesians grew tired of the missionaries.
So, after forcibly making them convert, then you make them get rid of their own local customs that they have had for hundreds of years. Is this not frustrating? Is this not just sickening? Christianity has not had a good track record, unfortunately. Now, this is a question for you guys. What are your thoughts about these people going to these uh, um, pre-modern societies and just taking over? Do you think it was good for those communities or bad? I for the purpose of religion, bad, because you're forcibly converting these people. But for them developing into the modern day, do you think it was a good thing or not? What are your thoughts? Hey, Ian Davenport, good to see you. Background of Christianity is blood and death. Tossed aside their lifestyle and customs. Translations, they strip them of their culture. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Strip them of their culture altogether. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Right, so let's see.
Trying to control their lifestyle and the colonial rule that brought the preachers there. Under these conditions, the John Frum movement
Hang on,
sprouted
trying to control their lifestyle. Oh my.
to its founding when Vanuatu and the island Tanna was still part of the New Hebrides, populated almost entirely by the local Melanesian people. At the time, the small island had recently come under the British and French Empire's joint control. Shortly after the two countries' navies arrived, Christian missionaries followed. These missionaries forcibly converted the local populations, casting aside the lifestyle and customs that had permeated throughout the island chain for hundreds of years, known as cast-on in the local language. The Melanesians grew tired of the missionaries trying to control their lifestyle and the colonial rule that brought the preachers there. Under these conditions, the John Frum movement sprouted, though followers disagree today about the exact circumstances. According to some, a native Melanesian named Manhivi traveled the island dressed in Western garb, calling himself John Frum. In other accounts, John Frum was not a man, but a spirit that could only be seen when under the influence of kava, a subtly psychoactive root popular throughout the Pacific Islands for its medicinal and spiritual effects. Outsiders believe that the name came from an American military scout who visited the island in the 1930s, who may have introduced himself as John from America. No matter the origin story, though, John Frum promised to bring the people wealth and prosperity if they resisted the onslaught of Western colonizers on their islands. If they abandoned their Western currency, education, and religion, the white colonizers would flee the island, returning wealth and power to the original inhabitants.
Oh
In
wow.
1941, the people of Tanna followed through on the
Okay, so these people were deceived, really. They were told that if you reject us, if you reject us colonizing you, We would take back our gifts and things that we have brought with us back. But if you accept us taking over and colonizing you, you get to keep. We will bring you gifts. We will bring you my. Oh, this is going to do my head in. This is not good. How do you do this to communities? How do you do this to people? How how? And people don't say anything about this. It's like, oh, they've done all this, and it's the past. Just let it go. Come on, this is not good. So heartbreaking. Sounds like extortion of an entire culture, and that's absolutely crazy. Did you see that picture? Everyone there were on their knees, but the Reverend Father, he's standing up with his hands on his waist, like he owns the place. Sorry, guys, this is just no. It didn't come in a coffin-shaped box, though. This suppository came in a volcano-shaped box with crack Jabba written on the side. Really? Hmm. Okay. Gosh. This is going to.
This change, casting away their money, slaughtering excess animals, and establishing new rituals. The colonial authorities did everything in their power to stop these practices, fearful that they may lose control of the population that they depended on for labor. They banished the movement's leaders to other islands in the archipelago.
So these colonizers were depending on these people for labor. I bet it was cheap labor as well. Free labor. Free, cheap labor. And so, because you want them to carry on in this labor to you, you want them to serve you. Now you make them get rid of. Guys, don't get me wrong. Some of those practices, I'm sure, in today's society, we would frown on these things. Some of them would be barbaric, right? Some of them, like in some places, I think it was like parts of, is it Nigeria and some other places where they used to kill twin babies
Well,
until uh who was it now? What's her name? I think it was Mary Seacole or Mary Slessor, one of the Marys, said she was the one who stopped the killing of twins. Because some people, then custom was that they believed that twins were a curse. So there were practices that, of course, had to be eradicated, but not by imposing your religion on this. I don't know. This is a bit of a tough one, because on the one hand, I just don't know if I can say some good things came from colonization. I don't know if I can boldly say that. If these people had not colonized these people, where would they be today? Where would these communities be today? Phil, what do you think?
I I know in terms of probably science and so on, they will still be superstitious, but they still have the superstition. That's the problem. And those people, the thing is that the same way what was running through my mind, the same way that the Europeans, the Europeans went back to Africa, brought trinkets and so on
Yes.
to do those
To
people.
dupe these people.
yeah, they do the same thing there with those cargo cults, but the cargo cults apparently view those persons as gods, and
Right.
right, that's the thing. And of course, you know the Europeans and the Americans, because remember this started mainly in during the World War against Japan, Japanese. So they will have played on those people vulnerabilities, people seeing them as gods because they had these things that they never seen before, technologies.
Before, can you
Yeah,
imagine?
technologies. So these people tended to think when the people pull out that the way to, as an offering, as a sacrifice, quote unquote, to get them to bring, to get more of these technologies, um, they had to build the airfield, put back at the, I know the tower, the airport tower, they built them out of the bamboo or the wood that they had because they thought that's what will appease or bring, cause these gods to send the cargo, to bring these trinkets, these appliances, these stuff that they were receiving when the persons were there, or that they will return, you know, they will return once they saw these gods, quote unquote, will return, seeing the airplane towers and whatever, the field or setting up lights in terms of oh gosh, flames along the runway that will attract them and bring them back. Right? It's like, yeah,
So
but
wait.
it shows, yeah.
So these people constructed their own airstrip.
Yep.
They constructed their own airstrip, constructed their own planes from bamboo, their own tower,
The
their own,
tower, to,
all
because
of
they felt
this
that it will bring back,
will
cause
bring
the
back the
Americans to come
colonizers.
back. Yep, 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 yep. Mm-hmm,
Wow. And
mm-hmm.
dog says everything is terrifying,
Yep.
especially in this new hospital. I get fitted for a wheelchair soon, so we'll have some sort of independence. Dog, is the wheelchair going to have what do you
Electric
call that
motor.
engine? Yes, yes,
Electric motor.
yes. Going to be moving at how many miles per hour? How fast is this wheelchair going to be going? Because we need to make sure dog gets a wheelchair license. Make sure he passes his wheelchair license test.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make sure you don't leave that man on that wheelchair going. We don't want him going fast on that wheelchair, because I know dog what he's like. He would get on that chair now and he'll be out just zooming all over the place. So we need to make sure he passes his wheelchair test first. Steve
Mm-hmm.
McGray manager says you can educate people without colonizing them.
Yep.
I agree, Steve McGray manager, but these people didn't ask for these colonizers to come
Nope.
to them. They invaded. They went there. They didn't ask. The people of the Melanesian people did not
Mm-hmm.
ask these people to come to them. They got there
Mm-hmm.
uninvited, right? And then see these
Yep.
people. I
And see,
remember,
they caught them by using these things. Remember, there's it was who it was C. Clark said, um, any alien technology that seems advanced will appear. There's just some reason appear as if is a god.
right?
So because the Americans bought these, as I told you, trinkets and similar to
Yeah,
what the British did back. even way back
Umbrella.
during
Um,
slavery, the umbrellas and
yeah,
so on.
during the day of slavery,
To do,
10 slaves for one umbrella.
yeah, uh-huh.
A bottle of drink. How many slaves did you they would
Mm-hmm.
exchange? How many slaves for a bottle
Yeah,
of gin? I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember the figures. We've done it here before, Phil, when we
Mm-hmm.
looked at
Yeah,
the
the slavery.
slavery from Badagry, right?
Yeah,
The from
yeah.
the slave what you call it, the port in
Port. Yeah.
Badagry,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Yeah.
things they were exchanged. They even still had photos of no, they still
Photos.
had
Yeah.
one of the umbrellas
Umbrellas. Yeah.
that were exchanged for slaves.
Mm-hmm.
The just the cruelty. You
Yeah.
exchange human life for umbrellas.
Mm-hmm. And they probably got these persons, as you were saying, to doing that to do free work for them and whatever, even though those persons will not even know how to use the
Yes, yes.
appliances or utensils,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
use it
It's
to gain free labor for them to clear the land and whatever. So
yeah.
it's sad. It's
It is absolutely crazy. And so Doug says Doug Doug has entered the rabbit hole. The Shani and Rev rabbit hole. Doug says he took a deep dive in the true lives of Shani and Rev. Some proper dysfunctional shit happening there. PP Gate is always lurking in the chat. Let me tell you, we know ourselves. We know ourselves that are always lurking in those parts, right? In those parts, we know
hmm
ourselves. Bro guy is there too. Steve McRae manager, he's there too. We know ourselves. We lurk. What's his name? He's always there too. What's his name? Oh goodness, I remember his name. We're always there. And my goodness, what a rabbit hole. Shani, Rev, G Man, that the trio, that
hmm
very dysfunctional humans. Very dysfunctional.
yeah.
Mm-mm-mm. Ian Davenport says
hmm
they gave them the Bible
yeah.
when and they closed when they closed their eyes to pray, they took their lands. But in this case, they didn't take the lands, they left, right?
You're right.
In this particular
No,
case, they
and
didn't
only
take the
to a
lands.
certain point to use the lands for as an air base.
Right. Okay, for the
Yeah, for the
whatever.
Air Force. Not
Okay.
it wasn't the Air well, for their military planes to attack from as
Hmm.
a yeah base for the military planes.
Now, this is something. Whenever you have physical and economic exploitation, you will always have sexual exploitation also. They all come these all come hand in hand. They all come hand in hand. Of course,
Yeah.
the sexual exploitation would happen. Can you imagine these men arriving there and you see and did you see most of those ladies the way they're dressed? Their breasts are hanging out. Their
Mm-hmm.
bits are all hanging out, right?
Yeah.
They only had
Yeah.
little what they call those bamboo like thingies just covering themselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
very easy to just look and want to touch, and I'm sure they will even tell them it's normal, this normal thing to
Yeah.
touch. Just well, I
Take
missed
advantage.
I miss the lurkers anonymous meeting. PP Gate, when the lurkers meeting is taking place, you come get me, please. Make sure to come and get me. From the cradle of all life on earth to the most exploited people on earth by greed and religion, Africa needs protecting. No, listen, this place is not Africa, right? This is parts of
Of
uh
Pacific,
it's
Pacific.
interesting. How are they black people though? Is it anywhere near Africa? Hang
No,
on, let's have a look
no.
here. Let's have a look here. It's
It's out in the Pacific Ocean.
the Central Highlands of New Guinea. Right. So let me have a look here. New Guinea. I'm curious. Where is it?
It's
Uh,
close, I think, to
New Guinea.
Australia.
How is it? Is it close to
Australia.
Africa at all? No, I need to see.
No,
No. So how are they
I don't
black
think so.
people? Hmm? Okay, Papua New Guinea. Right. I
Let
might
me see.
share my map. I don't know. There's no need to share the map, is it? Um. So where's Africa? Hmm. So that's Papua New Guinea. That's Australia. Where's Africa? Wow. Hang on, guys. No, I need to share this. Wait. Stop. Let me share the map. Papua New Guinea. Yeah, it is Papua New Guinea. Hang on, let's see. So this is the map. So guys, here is Papua New Guinea. Here, right?
Yeah.
And then there's Australia here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Australia's here, and then there's New Zealand right here.
And where's Melanie's?
It will be here, somewhere here.
Melanie's. Here. It's
Oh, what's this here? This place is called New Britain. This one is called New Ireland.
wow.
Were these also colonized too? Port Moresby. This is interesting. Hang on. West Papua, Nabire, Samai, West
Um,
Papua, Sarong. Hmm. I don't see the Melanese.
it was the island. It
This is New Guinea.
started
New
on.
Guinea is here.
It's called Tana Island.
Tanamera.
No, it's T. Is it is Tana. Tana Island, I think, now called the Republic of Vanuatu,
Hmm.
is an island country located in South Pacific Ocean. I think that's where it actually started, east of New Guinea, southeast
East
of the
of
Solomon
New Guinea.
Islands. Yeah,
So that's New Guinea there.
where,
Mm.
I can send you the link.
Okay, so what I wanted to do was to look at how far this place is from Africa, right? Okay, so look, so here is Papua New Guinea here.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got Indonesia here. Here we have Australia, right? See, look,
Yeah.
over here, all the way, where's Africa? All the way here
Oh, over there,
is
yeah.
South Africa. So how, okay, how did
That was
they become black
Indonesia.
people? How are they
In
black
There
as well?
are there those might be similar like the Aborigine.
Aborigines. Okay,
Yeah,
right. All right. Hmm,
mhm.
interesting. That's something we need to do some
It's
homework.
more, yeah.
It seems similar to the Aboriginal people of the that's right. Okay. Okay. So maybe that's what it is. But
But
it's interesting.
somewhat
It's
like
interesting.
me too.
I've also seen some Indian people, an Indian man from India who is as black as black. He's black, but the texture of his hair completely different.
Yeah.
From the afro
Mm-hmm.
hair that the black people usually. It's interesting. Oh, wow.
From what I'm seeing here, it seems as if they look more, somewhat like the Aborigines.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
carry on with this with
Mm-hmm.
the video. It's interesting the things you discover.
Discovery, yeah.
Hmm. John Frame. Let's go back and finish this.
Hell ago, but with little effect. The events of the following year would push the John Frum movement to new heights. The major
Mm-hmm.
incident was the opening of World War II's Pacific Theater. As Imperial Japan pushed southwards onto the Pacific Islands, the United States countered by taking islands of their own. The intense
Yeah.
battles of the next few years would be characterized by island hopping as each power turned remote islands into full scale military bases, sometimes with the help of the locals and sometimes to their detriment. For the United
Hmm.
States, the New
Mm.
Hebrides was an obvious location for an outpost, given that it was under control of America's two closest allies. More than 50,000 troops moved into the island chain, establishing Tanna as a regional base. In the eyes
Wow.
of many
Yeah,
John
so remember
this was a
Tana,
show.
Hmm?
right? He just mentioned the name Tana.
Yes, Tana. Yes.
Right. That
Hey,
link that I sent you
JG.
there can
Hello.
show you the link in the private chat
Okay.
shows you is the actual island.
Right. Okay. I only see the I don't see the
And my and Wikipedia.org Wiki
no, no,
Tana.
I see it, but I don't see the map.
But you
Ah,
click on
hang
it?
on. Hang on. Hang
Yeah.
on. I think I see it. I think I see it. Oh wow. Pacific Ocean.
hmm
Coral Sea. You know what? We'll do this after because this
Yeah.
is very interesting. I need to. Oh my goodness. Oh
hmm
wow. John Fruit movement, language, economy, transportation. Listen, that's we will come back and look at that.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. Yeah.
God must have
hmm
what did JG say? God must have just made them there. Hang on, JG. No, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't forget, we started off from Adam and Eve. Okay? So if we started from Adam and Eve, how did Adam and Eve somehow multiply? how did they uh how did it happen? How did Adam and Eve start off as black people? Did and then go on. Anyway, I think what I'm trying to say here, when you for me, looking at all of this and discovering all these new things, it just goes to show that the whole Adam and Eve concept does not work.
Yeah.
The Adam and Eve concept just does not work.
Yeah.
To think that we originated from this one man who was formed from dust and a woman who was formed from his rib, and somehow now we have all the varying tribes, cultures, nations. Oh please, just please. Ian Davenport says my wife is Melanie. Is oh, wow. I lived 5 years there, and have six Solomon Islanders here now sleeping, but they would never
Oh,
watch this stream. They hate atheists. Oh.
wow.
Wow, how nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Eve popped out babies like a tennis ball machine. The hospital
Oh
you're
gosh.
in, all Indians. Oh, wow. Mm-mm. Well, God did tell Adam and Eve to go ahead and multiply
Mm.
after telling them to after banishing them from that stupid garden. Then he tells them to go. I don't. Honestly, I'm not understanding. So you punish these two people, you kick them out of the garden, and still give them a task, making them go suffer while popping out those babies. And the God, that God character in that beginning story, he's just evil. He's just pure evil. How can you create these two people and then just for the mere eating of a fruit, you just punish them,
You know?
and just condemn them to just a very hard life? And yet we worship this God. There are people who worship this God, who call this God their deity. Their listen, I wouldn't worship that kind of God. Sorry, just not me. No, no, no.
Of the wealth that they could gain by following the words of their spiritual leader. The Americans introduced new technology to the people there, from refrigerators and airplanes to
Yeah.
machine guns and
Wow.
radios. American
Mm-hmm.
soldiers often interacted with the locals, paying them for their work and giving them excess chocolate and Coca Cola.
Oh
10,000
yeah, yeah,
Vanuatu people joined the
yeah. That's how
Vanuatu
they
Labor
got them.
Chocolates and Coca Cola.
Coca-Cola, yeah. Things that they never seen before.
Wow.
Corps during
Mm-hmm.
the war, serving a critical support role in the American Guadalcanal campaign. This meant that Melanesian people were paid for their service and began to see material wealth unlike anything they ever imagined. In
Yeah.
fact, the technology that the American military utilized was so far beyond that of the locals that they assume it couldn't have been made by humans. It must have
Ah.
come from the gods.
Oh,
Therefore, in their
Mm-hmm.
eyes,
wow.
gods favored these American intruders over the Melanesians. A couple of years
Wow.
later, when the American military left the islands, they took their supplies and their goods. So,
Mm-hmm.
followers of Jonathan did what they believed would restore the material wealth and the
Mm-hmm.
prosperity of the war years. They mimicked the American troops in as many ways as possible, leading to the modern
Yeah.
practices of February the 15th, known as John Frum Day. In the words of some
Wow.
followers, they mimic the American drills, hoping that John Frum will drop wealth from the sky
From sky.
in the same
Mm-hmm.
way that the American military airdropped supplies for their troops.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Around this
Yeah.
time, some anthropologists began to identify the John Frum movement as an example of a cargo cult. Cargo
Mm-mm.
cults sprung up throughout the Pacific Island nations in the late 19th and 20th centuries as societies isolated from the rest of the world for millennia first came into contact with outsiders. One defining
Mm-hmm.
characteristic of these cargo cults is the synthesis of traditional beliefs with those of the foreigners. In Vanuatu, for example, Melanesian society centered on a big man system wherein individuals gain prestige and power through their giving to others. People who cannot reciprocate the wealth they are given are marked as rubbish
Rubbish
men.
men. Big
With the
men and
arrival
rubbish
of the
men.
American military,
Wow.
even the most distinguished Melanesian big men suddenly became rubbish men. To anthropologists, this is called value dominance, where an outside
Wow.
culture, the Americans, dominates another culture, the Melanesians, in values that both cultures share. The Americans didn't
Mm-hmm.
import consumerism and materialism to Vanuatu. The foundational belief system was already there, but they took it up a notch with their technology
Mm.
and their wealth. In
Mm-hmm.
1957, a leader in the John Frum movement named Nakamaha established the first Tanner Army, a non-violent, ritualistic group that formalized its military parades and drills. Followers would paint USA on their chests in red paint and go about their exercises. As the movement grew, the
Mm.
group's leader found a contact in the United States who shipped surplus military clothes to the island for use in the ceremony. Now,
Really?
the army
Wow.
maneuvers are
Wow.
mostly reserved for February the 15th, but the praise of American politicians and culture, it continues year round. In the
Oh.
1970s, as Vanuatu made a push for independence, the John Frum movement opposed the change, claiming that it would lead to a centralized government that would universalize the country's culture, wiping out the distinct characteristics of Tanner. In retrospect, this doesn't seem to have been the case, but this may be in part because the movement formed its own political party to ensure that they're adequately represented in government. Nowadays, about 20% of Tanner's population follow John Frum, and the movement's different sects have branched out further than ever.
Okay.
Hmm.
Is this John Frame movement? Is it still there today?
I think so. I think
I
that's why
think
he's
that's still
saying that there's still there.
they're
The
still there.
20% of the island. Yeah,
They now have their own political
political
uh
party to
party.
maintain
Wow.
representation. But as you realize, even when you look at this, how they form this religious cult, that there are now denominations of branch out from, similar to Christianity, similar to a lot of other religions.
Hang on. You're telling me that the John Fru movement have different sects
Yeah,
of the John Frum?
yeah. That's what the guy just said, that they,
That's
yeah,
what he was.
branch out from.
Ah,
Yeah.
oh,
So
wow.
it's similar to how religions develop
Develops, evolves over time.
evolves among humans.
Wow.
It's a human thing. So, so Christianity, even among Muslims, there are
Yeah,
sects,
yeah.
right? Might
I
not be as many as Christianity, but there are, because
There
that's
are.
so human. It's part of
Mm,
human nature to, of course,
so
they're going to have differences,
yeah.
even
So
though starting from original source.
I'm just thinking about this John Frum movement, right? So these people were waiting on goodies to fall from the
To fall
sky.
from the sky,
So they're
yeah.
preparing all of these things. I can just imagine how some of these sects would develop, right? They would
Mm-hmm.
say, "Oh no, let's do it in the morning." Right? In the morning, if we got everything ready in the morning, the gods might hear us. And other people would say, "No, no, 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 no. It's the night time. The night
Yeah.
time is better because the
That,
moon is
yeah.
out."
Mm-hmm.
And then fights break out between the ones that say it's in the morning and the ones that say it's in the night. And before you know
Mm-hmm.
it, okay, you go your separate way, we go our
Yeah.
separate way. We do ours at night and you do
Yeah.
yours in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
They each
Yeah.
branch off.
Yeah.
Then the nighttime people, they doing their thing, and some say, no, 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 no. We need to hold our hands up like this to the skies
Guys, yeah.
so that the gods, before you
Yeah.
know, I can just, you my.
But I can say, because you have, um, in the Catholic Church, there are certain rituals, in Episcopalian, certain rituals, and some Methodist churches, certain rituals. Um, Evangelical
Mm.
churches, some evangelical churches have different rituals to others that they feel will get them closer to God or make them feel closer to God.
Ah,
It's
Scapegoat Iscariot says, and notice that no one, hey, Scapegoat Iscariot, good to see you, says, and notice that no one had to encourage them to create this religion.
mm-hmm.
They assumed that the soldiers were from the gods, and they
Right.
still assume it. So
Yeah.
they saw these white people, they saw the cars, saw the chocolate and the Coca-Cola, and all the things,
Mm-hmm.
and just said, this
Yeah.
must be from the gods.
Yeah.
So, but the man made a statement. He said they already had these beliefs. These beliefs were already uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, present in
Present.
this culture, right? But that
Yeah.
with the
The
coming of these
foundations we believe.
people, it just went up a notch because
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
the gods are finally
We're
head out.
here.
The gods, oh gosh,
Yeah. The gods are finally
whew,
here. And wow, look at these things cannot have been made by the
wow,
thing.
just wow.
And
John
I
Frum.
suspect that's similar to what happened in Africa too, during the
Hmm.
things when
While I
there's
was,
the weaponry and whatever they realize. Some of them probably said, "Oh, these guys are gods, and their religion must be true."
getting this stream ready and trying to find the video what we're going to use, I saw a video that said, um, "Is Christianity a cargo cult?"
Hmm.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we might let's finish this. We might just watch that. Christianity, a cargo cult. Interesting.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
A sect
All right.
might
So,
take allegiance to the Japanese because they also occupied islands.
yeah.
And exploded the local populations too. Now we have World War III. Oh wow. PP Gates says, I would say that division isn't limited to region. It's created more. It's created more when any hierarchy. Okay. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Let's finish this one so we can go and have a look at Christianity.
Several men claim to be the prophets, saying they are the only one who speak to John from. One leader claims that his beliefs can be taught in conjunction with Christianity. Others argue that the two belief systems are in direct philosophical conflict. Some teach that Frum's spirit lives on in the island's volcano, while others say he resides in America. At times, these differences have led to outright clashes between the different factions. 25 men were wounded in a fight several years ago. Similar tensions exist between followers and non-believers who tire of their neighbors' worship of America and the outside attention that it brings. Montana's John Frum followers are perhaps the most famous cargo cult. They were by no means the first. The earliest recorded example began in Fiji in 1885 and is known as the Tika or Tuka movement. As British authorities moved into Fiji throughout the 19th century, they brought slaves from their other colonial holdings. Fijian culture began to vanish, but charismatic leaders, headed by a man named Nabo Sava Kandua, preached that the locals could overcome their colonizers if they focused on their traditional spiritual beliefs. The gods would favor them and transfer the English wealth into their hands, placing them in power. While the ritualistic practices between the Tuka and John Frum movements are vastly different, both focus on ways to re-establish authority over their territory via the wealth and technology of intruders.
Wow.
The rest of the world's cargo cults mostly exist in Vanuatu or Papua New Guinea. The term cargo cult first appeared around 1945 in reference to the John Frum movement and other similar groups in Vanuatu. However, many modern anthropologists questioned the cargo cult label, and not just on Tanna. When the term appeared, anthropologists had a very Western-centric view of the rest of the world, and many of the initial labels have not stood the test of time. For instance, the earliest commentators assumed that cargo cults were based entirely on a misunderstanding of technology and capitalism. However, obtaining material wealth is not the only purpose of the belief system. Wealth and prosperity are the rewards for a lifetime of following custom meant to maintain the island's tradition and culture. In this way, calling the John Frum movement a cargo cult is like calling Christianity a heaven cult. It diminishes the doctrine to a very narrow portion of its beliefs. Others point out that the term oversimplifies a movement based on much more than just spiritual belief. It came from a cultural, political, and economic upheaval, unlike anything Western cultures can genuinely relate to. As such, most modern anthropologists have shunned the term cargo cult in favor of a more nuanced view of the Pacific Islanders' popular belief systems. Still, to this day, Tanna is a popular tourist destination for Americans who want to get a look at a unique culture that seems to revere their faraway homeland.
Oh,
Of course,
wow.
spiritual leaders often receive questions about their religion's quirks and the point of continuing to believe in John Frum when he hasn't shown himself in all these years. In the words of one leader,
If you're questioning why they still believe because John Frum hasn't showed up all these years, the same can also be said about Jesus. The same can also be said about Jesus.
Chief Isaac, you Christians have been waiting for 2,000 years for Jesus' return to earth, and you haven't given up hope. So what do you think? Is the John Frum movement an absurd belief system? Is it ever appropriate to deem someone's religion, even a small part of it, as ridiculous? Or must we
What's up with the video now?
treat others' beliefs with the same reverence that most people?
Okay. Oh gosh. Interesting. Okay, let's have a quick look here at, is Christianity a cargo cult? How about that? Christianity a cargo cult? I'll turn my camera off maybe because I'm starting to have a bit of a lag.
A cargo cult? These are my thoughts and opinions. Is Christianity a cargo cult? These are my thoughts and opinions. My thoughts are worth precisely what you paid for them, and my opinions, as always, are freely given. Please let me know what you think. There is a popular view of cargo cults, which is of ignorant and superstitious
Gosh.
Pacific Islanders after World War II, mimicking the technology and routines of US servicemen, doing such things as making wooden aircraft and marching up and down with wooden rifles, in the belief that by doing so, the cargo, which fell from the sky whilst the islands were occupied, would magically return. Well, yes, they did do that, but the story is more complex. The term cargo cult was coined in 1945, but the cargo cult practice predates that. But first, I'd like to say a couple of things. It is well reported that the Spanish were welcomed as gods by the Native Americans, and it's not hard to imagine why. Partly, of course, it is the Clark adage concerning advanced technology being indistinguishable from magic. But I like to imagine the scene on some Peruvian beach as the huge Spanish ships advance,
try
their
reducing the
sails
video
high above
quality.
the horizon,
All right, then
shining
let me
white
do
in
that.
the morning sun. The
Let me
chief
do
of the
that.
tribe turns to his wise man.
The video quality on, hang on StreamYard. One second. Let's have a look. Here. Okay, let me stop sharing, and then maybe able to. I don't think I can. It's not letting me. It's not okay. Hang on. There's something I can do. 1 second. Just give me a minute. Let me do something quickly here. Hey, look at the trees. Good to see you. See, just 1 second. There's something I can do to stop share. Let's see, copy, and just give me a minute, guys. I will sort this out. Okay. So yeah, we should be able to. It should be better now. Hey, Shaq. Good to see you. It's been a while. I haven't seen you in a while. Right, here we go, guys.
Is Christianity a cargo cult? These are my thoughts and opinions. My thoughts are worth precisely what you paid for them, and my opinions, as always, are freely given. Please let me know what you think. There is a popular view of cargo cults, which is of ignorant and superstitious Pacific Islanders after World War II, mimicking the technology and routines of US servicemen,
Ishak, I'm
doing
ready.
such things as making wooden aircraft and marching up and down with wooden rifles, in the belief that by doing so, the cargo, which fell from the sky whilst the islands were occupied, would magically return. Well, yes, they did do that, but the story is more complex. The term cargo cult was coined in 1945, but the cargo cult practice predates that. But first, I'd like to say a couple of things. It is well reported that the Spanish were welcomed as gods by the Native Americans, and it's not hard to imagine why. Partly, of course, it is the Clark adage concerning advanced technology being indistinguishable from magic, but I like to imagine the scene on some Peruvian beach as the huge Spanish ships advanced, their sails high above the horizon, shining white in the morning sun. The chief of the tribe turns to his wise man, who neglected to mention this dramatic turn of events in the weekly prophecy meeting, and says, "Hey, Watsy Wattle, what's that?" Watsy Wattle, whose name literally translates as thinks fast and talks faster, replies, "It is the gods returning as foretold in the story of the jaguar and the wide-mouthed frog. I have suspected for some time, with Jupiter being in alignment with Mars and the biting spiders being particularly bitey this month. But I didn't want to put the kibosh on it by telling anyone." And would it be much different today if a huge alien spacecraft suddenly moved into orbit around the Earth? Alex Jones would blame the Illuminati. Paul Begley would tell us St. Peter was on board. The more sober religious leaders would be scrabbling through their scriptures to see how they could spin the occasion to prove that their holy text was the only one which prophesied the event. And the rest of us would, I assume, be in some measure of awe and wonder at such an advanced technological feat. At least those of us not living in the USA, where building bunkers and stockpiling food and hollow point ammunition would be the order of the day. This awe and wonder aspect is an important part of the cargo cult. Once you get over the shock of aliens arriving with unimaginable and exotic technology, you might find yourself wanting a piece of it. Aspiration is a very human thing. Every marketing woman and salesman knows about the power of aspiration. They don't sell products, they sell aspiration. They convince the gullible public that if they buy product X, which all the rich and successful people use, that they themselves will somehow magically become rich and successful. Of course, by buying product X, which they cannot afford, and which is sold by a company whose shares are all owned by the rich and successful, they actually ensure not only that they will never become rich, but also that the divide between themselves and those that are will only ever widen. Superstition also plays a part in the cargo cult. We're all superstitious. However much we try to reason ourselves out of it, I would doubt there is one of us who does not occasionally catch themselves thinking of a lucky number or fleetingly considering karma before perhaps mentally reeling ourselves in. We know that the Pacific Islanders had a well-developed mythology prior to contact with the Europeans. Ancestor worship played a big part. They communed with the spirits of the dead, and they had their gods who imbued certain people with supernatural power.
So the people of Melanesia, they already had their beliefs. They already had beliefs in God before these people arrived to their island. So, you know, it wasn't like they were introduced to this new God belief. I think they already had belief in these higher powers, spiritual beings, and all that stuff. So, interesting.
Powers enabling them to be successful in warfare. Starting in the late 18th century, missionaries appeared amongst the islanders in impressive ships, bringing advanced tools, equipment, and written books full of
Look at that
magical
camera.
words, promising to teach the natives the Western ways and technologies and introducing them to a new god who must, on the evidence presented, be so much more powerful than their own. The missionaries also introduced Jesus' imminent return and an idyllic heaven into the natives' superstitions. Colonization quickly followed. Commerce, of course, was the driving force. The natives found their old way of life disappear as they were employed in harvesting not only their native crops, but also new crops introduced by the European factories, only to...
Well, can you imagine how you're just in your home, your own home, then these strangers come along with their fancy goods and their fancy things and their religion, and before you know it, they have taken over your own what's normal to you, slowly just eating away at your culture. Just 1 second, guys, 1 second. So slowly they just ate away at their culture, at their practices, at what was familiar to them. And before you know it, they've colonized them. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Phil has gone for a walk. By the time he's hopefully by the time he gets back, he'll join us. So he's gone for a walk. He at this time of the day he goes for a walk. I think, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes walk. I don't know. But he'll be back.
See all of them disappear over the horizon to who knows where. In a single generation, islands which had been literally in the Stone Age, in a subsistence economy, found themselves subjugated by immensely powerful aliens who imposed upon them new religions, new laws, new morals, all with the promise of great rewards, which of course never arrived. A combination of culture shock, the mingling of Christianity with their own rich mythology, and their desire to emulate, and in some cases expel, the European colonial powers, is what led to the first recognized cargo cult. I should lastly mention that the primitive societies had a view of history as episodic rather than evolutionary. That is to say, that history for them was not viewed as a series of interconnected events, each leading from one to another. Instead, change was always dramatic, often with a chaotic interlude. Prophecies would state that dramatic change would occur after some event or sign. Read any mythology and you will see this pattern. Hesiod, writing around 700 BC, talked of the 5 ages of man. The Old Testament is an obvious episodic history, just as the New Testament revelation is a clear episodic prophecy. The first cargo cult is considered to be what is now known as the Vailala Madness, which began in late 1919 and lasted just a few years. Vailala in Papua New Guinea was suffering the joint blessings of evangelism and colonialism, both of which had been sold to the locals with grand promises of a bright future. Where the alien invaders were not warmly welcomed, it became obvious that resistance was futile, so the natives...
It's really, really sad that these religions offer so much. They tell you, oh, there's a heaven and you get to go to heaven. Just take on this religion. Oh, we have a Jesus for you. Our Jesus, he died for you. Accept him. And there is the pearly gates. Huh? The streets are paved with gold. They offer you all these things that never ever materialize. People get rid of what is familiar to them because they have been promised all these things that are going to happen, which never happen. They're waiting for a savior, waiting for the return of Jesus. I hear Christians saying, Jesus should hurry up and come back. Jesus should hurry up and return. And I'm thinking to myself, does this person understand the implications of that prayer that they're praying? I've heard people say, oh, I'm fed up of this world. I'm fed up. I'm done. I want Jesus to hurry up and come back because you're tired. You are fed up. You, one entity, you are fed up. So now you want the entire world to end. You do realize that when the world ends, according to the scriptures, it's going to be mayhem. It's going to be complete mayhem. The things that are predicted in that book, gosh, it's going to be plenty of bloodshed. But these people, I don't know, they just think because their scriptures has told them when Jesus comes, they're going to be taken up in this sky. And what if you that is praying that prayer for Jesus to return, what if Jesus returns and you're caught in the act of fornication, adultery, something, right? Jesus returns on his horse, because apparently Jesus is going to be on a white horse when he comes. Okay, so Jesus turns up on his white horse in the sky, and then you who's prayed this prayer, Jesus, hurry up and return, and you're all there caught in the act of fornication. You think you're going anywhere? You're not going anywhere. It's just absolutely crazy. The things that we were taught. We don't have drinkable water. The term thirst trap takes on a whole new meaning. Adia's place, hello. Good to see you. Okay, let's see. Christianity. Here we go.
Natives complied more or less willingly, but the promise was never fulfilled. And so, from their native superstitions combined with the imported Christianity, a new mythology was developed. Powerless to confront the colonial powers directly, they determined that the reason for their lack of prosperity was their own failure to correctly apply the lessons they had learned. The result in the case of Valhalla appeared to the casual observer to be contagious insanity. As the acting resident magistrate G.H. Murray wrote at the time, Mr. X visited the government station on the evening of the 9th of September to report extraordinary conduct on the part of the natives from Kiru to Vailala. According to him, The natives were saying that the spirits of their ancestors had appeared to several in the villages and told them that all flour, rice, tobacco, and other trade belonged to the New Guinea people, and that the white man had no right whatever to these goods. In a short time, all the white men were to be driven away, and then everything would be in the hands of the natives. A large ship was also shortly to appear, bringing back the spirits of the departed relatives with quantities of cargo, and all the villagers were to make ready to receive them. Platforms were being erected in the villages, and these were being loaded up with presents. Bosses, or big men, were appointed, presumably self-appointed, who seemed to be acting as masters of ceremony in these preparations, and making the other natives fall in with a pretense of drilling them and making them salute.
Wow.
Another interesting quote from Effie Williams, the assistant government anthropologist, describing the actions of a young man who was angry at Williams and others' intrusion into their cult house. He heaved long sighs and looked genuinely distracted. Finally, he moved across to the flagpole and stamped round and round it, shouting such phrases as, "Hurry up! What's the matter? Come on, boy!" This repetition of haranguing phrases will be familiar to any parent who has caught their child playing with dolls and repeating verbatim the phrases the parent themselves use, perhaps way too often, to chastise the child. Perhaps the child in their innocence is playing the same game that the Papuans were. They're trying to please, but are being repeatedly berated by their parent, and this role play allows them to exercise power in a world where they are otherwise impotent. So the anatomy of a cargo cult appears to be a people feeling oppressed or overwhelmed by the situation and wanting dramatic change, imposing upon themselves ritualistic behavior, which may well be demeaning to them in the short term, in the hope that the rituals will initiate a dramatic change in the world and bring about a time of milk and honey. A cargo cult carefully considered is not so bizarre, but rather a very human reaction to a specific set of circumstances. Think of the period of the Babylonian captivity, which was when the Pentateuch took form, or the Roman occupation of Jerusalem, when the New Testament took form. Do they not represent circumstances of a powerless, superstitious people, desperate for change? But let us get more basic. Think about life in general, and I'm not talking about human life. Life is a struggle. That, after all, is the basis of evolutionary theory. Once a creature is born, it has to struggle to survive long enough to become independent, with the odds stacked very much.
And I think someone said it in the chat that humans, we sort of have this natural need to find something outside of ourselves. We need something to, we have questions that we can't answer, and so we're busy searching for something out there. If they're not filling it up with Yahweh or with Allah, they will fill it up with something. This constant need to I don't know, what do you call it? This need to feel like there's something or someone who is overseeing. Some people call it a creator, because some people they just can't understand how we are not with this intelligent design. So if we're intelligently designed, there must be an intelligent designer. We couldn't have just formed just like that. No, we couldn't have come from just random occurrences. No, there has to be something or someone. There has to be an explanation. No, we cannot just be here just for the sake of being here. There has to be a purpose for me and you being here. There has to be this grand, in the grand scheme of things. We can't just be a blip in the in humanity. No, there's got to be something. So that those questions bring a strong desire to find something that is not even missing to begin with. Let's see what you guys. If Jesus comes, I'm going to be left. But G-Man will be here to entertain us still also. Yes, we will have G-Man with us. G-Man, if there's a Christian heaven, G-Man ain't going there. No, he has failed in the test for the morality test for Christianity. G-Man has failed woefully, He's not a Christian. G-Man is not a Christian. He's failed. Unfortunately, I'm starting to think religious belief is an evolutionary advantage. Because the majority of people that are here now are religious. You think it's an evolutionary advantage? How about an evolutionary disadvantage? Hmm. That says ridiculous as saying that every individual weed in the garden has a purpose. Mm, mm. You know, that was a big struggle for me. That was a big struggle. Because I always thought that there had to be a purpose. There had to be a purpose of me being here. I'm here for a reason. God needs me to do something for Him. And that's why when I was in church, I would never just sit down, fold my hands, and just be part of the audience. No, I had to be doing something in the house of God. I had to be fulfilling one role or another because, you know, I'm here for a reason. It was when I heard someone describe um, the human being, how minute the human being is. The person described it. They started off by describing the the universe. No, they started, was it with the Milky Way? Then there's the universe. Then there's the planets and all they described. They showed images and then they showed Earth, right? Earth, the planet Earth. And in that planet Earth, say you came from America, right? Now, America is one very huge country. So they came from all the way up, down, 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 right? Just coming in and zeroing in on the one individual person to show you how minute you are in the you're just a dot. You are a dot in the that's in this big old universe. You are just a tiny speck. And when he described it, I was thinking, if I'm so that means I'm really, yes, don't get me wrong. I'm special. I'm a mother, I've got children, I've got people around me who love me, but is there really a higher calling, a higher thing that I need to achieve, that I need to attain, right? What's it worth? What? Anyway, never mind. I won't. Religion is attacked, right? Also on so many levels in America, even getting married. I think for some people like myself, it was simply the desperation of wanting to know that which I did not know. And scapegoat Iscariot, that desperation, that's what leads people to go looking for things that aren't missing at all. Now we have the God of the gaps because there is that need. We want to know. There's that knowledge that we have to feel. And so people now don't think critically. Then they fill it up with all sorts of religions and all sorts of belief systems. Hence, why we have so many belief systems like what we have today. So many interpretations of this God belief. So many. But, you know, even though I'm an atheist, I still want to learn about why people believe what they do. It's interesting. It's a very interesting subject to cover, to understand. And when you really ask these questions, why people believe what they do, if you really sit down and talk to people, then you get to this desperation of wanting to know that which they don't know. When you narrow it down, that's what it boils down to. The bottom line, at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. Religion can be a psychological advantage as it frees up a lot of mental stress. Depending on how deeply you are invested or gullible you are, by giving you an easy and certain answer for everything. But, bro, guy, what if you then find out that everything you thought was real isn't real? That's the disadvantage with this here. When I lost my belief in God, when I stopped believing, it was really hard because at the age of 40, everything I thought I knew was a lie. I was not prepared for that to happen to me. I was not taught any varying beliefs. I was not taught about atheism, agnosticism. These things were just not a thing. So when that belief collapsed, it was a shocking, very shocking thing to experience. Gosh, I went through the angry atheist phase, and it was that angry atheist phase that birthed this channel because I had to channel that anger, the anger that I've been lied to for so long. I had to channel it into something. Gosh, I was angry. Angry at the people who lied to us, angry at myself for believing this lie, asking myself, how did I not see that these things were a lie? Why didn't I see it? Oh, Agnes. Oh, man. Hey, Travis. Hello. Read The Belief Instinct. Is that a book? Thinking critically is hard work. It is, and that's why a lot of people avoid it. They would rather just go with what comfortable, what feels easy, something they haven't had to fight or struggle to get. They would rather just okay, let me just stay in my yeah. I was talking to my sister the other day. A cousin stumbled across one of my videos on YouTube, and he was watching that video. They discovered that I now an atheist, and he was shocked. So he sent a copy of that video to my sister. Esther's an atheist now, and my sister said, "Yes, I know. She came out to us and told us." I said, "But have you had a look at the video?" My sister said, "Yeah, she told me. She said she watched the video and she said, Esther, everything you said in that video was 100% accurate." He said, "But Esther, Christianity is all I've known. I'm not prepared to go down that uh what did she say? She just said she she's not interested. She's happy to stop where she is. She doesn't want to find out what's on the other side. Even though everything she heard me say in that video was 100% accurate, she just wasn't ready. She said, Esther, this is all we've known. This is all we were taught. She said, I can't, she can't imagine life without that religion. So, yes. Ian Davenport. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for the super stick. I appreciate that. I completely agree, Esther, although I think I am a naturally cynical person. So I felt a great sense of relief after I realized that Christianity amounted to nothing more than a bedtime story. I don't know if I would say I was a cynic. Now I'm a cynical person now. But I don't know if it was the religion that did that to me. I wasn't allowed to be cynical. I wasn't allowed to, you just couldn't do it. Even if you attempted to be cynical, you were shut down. You were shut down immediately. So, but you know something? I'm just happy for my children. I'm happy for the next generation. They wouldn't have to experience what we experienced, right? My next generation, I'm talking about my children, my 19-year-old, he's never been indoctrinated. Never. He's an atheist. My 13-year-old, he's still young, but he's already walking down that path. He he's definitely going to be an atheist. I can see it coming. Hey, Beach, good to see you. And thank you once again, Ian Davenport, for the super sticker. G-Man's channel is still up. What? What happened? What happened to his channel? That guy's just a nuisance. Unfortunately, you did miss the cargo stop, but thankfully you can always replay. It's very interesting. It is very interesting. And thank you, Steve McRae, manager, for pointing it out. I had never, if you hadn't told me, I'd never heard of the cargo calls. Never heard of it. Never. Amazing. Okay, let's finish this. So is Christianity so this video we're watching is talking about the cargo cults, which we started off with, and asking, is Christianity a cargo cult? Christianity a cargo cult? Oh.
Against it. Once out on its own, life becomes a daily round of finding food to eat whilst avoiding becoming someone else's meal. And that is life, day in and day out, for as long as you are fortunate enough, if fortunate is the right word, to live. We humans are animals. For most of our history, our lot in life, for the vast majority of us, has been no better.
The man said, we humans are animals. 5 years ago, if you had said that to me, I would have taken that as an insult. How dare you call me an animal? That would have made me very angry. How dare you call me an animal? But guess what? We're animals. Maybe just with a bit more brains, with a bit more, we're more developed, but we are animals. But it's amazing how times have changed for myself. Now I can sit in and say, yes, I'm an animal. I was in someone's chat, was it yesterday or today? Someone did a live stream, and someone in the comments was asking, so are you people saying we came from monkeys? Are you saying monkeys? It was saying monkeys, those animals that are, and I typed in the chat, monkeys are beautiful animals. And the person said, does that mean we have to go now to the jungle to go and be jumping from tree to tree? Just trying to say that monkeys are, well, they're not human, but their IQ levels are very, so because we're animals, so now we're like monkeys. But we're just, maybe just a little higher up the skin. Never mind. Oh.
Than for any other animal. For many, little has changed today. We were born with a 50-50 chance of surviving the event and about the same odds of reaching the age of reproduction, at which point our lives became a daily round of finding food and fending off predators, the worst of which were other humans, with estimates of 60% of primitive adults dying in some kind of combat. For most of us today, these primitive threats have receded, but we are genetically programmed to react to threats, and our brains are quick to detect them.
Before 2 years ago, I didn't know what an eukaryote was. so daft. I didn't know before 2 years ago. I didn't know what an eukaryote. What it was. I had no clue. Oh God.
And dump chemicals into our systems to help us deal with them. It does not matter whether we are being stalked by a lion or dumped on at work. Our bodies are not intelligently designed to differentiate. We have a simple fight or flight response. Our body jacks us up on mainline pharmaceuticals in preparation for our response. Were it a lion, then the act of running away very, very quickly would consume the excess hormones which would otherwise adversely affect us. If we stood our ground, then the lion would consume the excess hormones and they would no longer be our concern. Today there is no lion, just the office boar, and if we resist the urge to fight or flight, then the chemicals dumped into our system to aid us will now poison us. In short, the symptoms of stress are largely due to you not being eaten by that lion. We all suffer stresses, and I'm sure that most of us have reflected on how absurd it is to stress about some of the things that we do. Understanding how we are programmed to become so easily stressed should help us understand why for some people, the stress, with no means to relieve the cause, quickly becomes overwhelming. In short, I would contest life in general for many people is culture shock. They
You
feel
back?
overwhelmed by it. And I have not mentioned the contemplation of death and the eternal nothingness, which again, we all, I am sure, occasionally at least, ponder. So whilst we may feel civilized, cosseted and comfortable, far apart from the primitive Pacific Islanders, we are all at risk of joining a cargo cult. If we
Oh,
feel
wow.
threatened by our inability to
What
control
happened to the video? Just gone down. Okay, apparently we're all at risk of joining a cargo cult. We all are at risk of joining a cargo cult. So before we finish this, before we end this stream, what I'm going to do, there's a 4-minute video about cargo cults. Let's have a look at that. 4 minute, just 4-minute video, right? Hopefully,
Oh,
let's see.
where is that?
The white men, they're going back to God, right, Phil?
Yeah.
I mean, look at
Mm-hmm.
look at how they're just standing there
Yeah.
and looking at
And
these
looking.
people, right? They're
Yep.
looking at them as though in awe.
Yep.
Now they're going. These people are going back. They're going back
Wow.
probably to the heaven. And look, they're going up in the
To
sky.
the
Come on
sky. So
now,
they're going up there. Yeah.
because they assume that heaven is up there,
They
God
are,
is up
or
there,
their gods
everything
are
is up
there.
there. So these people
Mm-hmm.
are going back to the gods.
Mm-hmm.
Just wow.
Which even when you look at the Bible and how it talks about God being
Hey,
up,
Richard.
or when Jesus ascended into the heavens. So for people is up there, because mysterious, that's where the gods are reside, and even
Mm-hmm.
the other things are even Zeus and them reside up in Mount Olympus, up in a mountain, up in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And probably even now thinking about it, when Moses went up the mountain to talk to God, it's all that
Hang on.
similar concept.
Can I
It's
hang
not
on?
not
Hang on.
not.
Hang on. You just said something about Moses going up the mountain. Now, I've never been on top of a mountain, but I've
Mhm.
been told that when you go up, the oxygen levels, is it that they drop or do
Yeah,
they
it
drop or do they
decrease.
go?
It
They
decrease.
decrease.
Hmm.
They decrease,
Yeah,
right?
because your atmosphere gets thinner.
So the atmosphere gets thinner. And then that will have some effect on your body, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Could it
Mm-hmm.
be that that's what happened to Moses?
Maybe. Yeah, probably get a good hallucination.
Could it
See
be
stuff
that
because lack of
the higher
oxygen,
the
oxygen
higher he
deprivation.
went, right? His body started to uh um to have these
Lack of
sensations,
oxygen
lack of oxygen, and he started to
and
imagine
imagine.
that he
Are you
saw a
hearing
bush
voices? Yeah.
that was burning and hearing voices
Hearing
coming from
voices.
this bush. Hmm,
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
interesting.
hallucination. Interesting.
So Steve McCree managed sometimes what's that? Is that a dog?
A dog?
Is that a dog? I
A
cannot.
puppy?
In StreamYard, it's hard to see. Hmm.
Yeah, it's a dog.
It's a dog. Ah,
Oh my
it's amazing,
gosh.
but no, because think about it. These people had no clue. Like with Moses. Oh, Moses went up the mountain. He
Mountain
saw
and
a
here.
burning this. But now we have answers to these things.
Yeah.
We have answers now,
And people still holding on to the fairy
and
tales.
people are well. That's why a
Onto
lot of
the mythologies. as
Yes.
if they're true.
And that's why a lot of people reject science.
Yeah.
A lot of these religions cannot, they don't agree with science because
Hmm.
science just nullifies
Yeah.
all their religious beliefs.
Beliefs. Yeah.
Science has an explanation for all the things they
And
have no
testable
explanations.
explanations. Testable
Testable,
explanations that are
very
repeatable,
verifiable, repeatable,
verifiable, and repeatable. The test is repeatable
evidential.
and evidential
Ooh,
evidence.
true, true, true. Just no.
Right? Evidence, repeatable. The as long as the test. That's why I know some people use the word theory, but they use it.
Fairy
Uh, no theory. I
theory.
have.
Okay.
They always say I have a theory. It's not a theory. A theory is a verifiable, repeatable,
Mm,
is an explanation that has been repeatedly shown to be the case through
right,
testing,
right. Mm,
right? And generally accepted. That's the general idea of a theory. If you have a hypothesis, and it's usually a theory is a hypothesis that's been repeated, shown repeatedly to fit the data, the evidence, right? The explanation that fits the evidence,
mm,
repetition, right? And of course, it's falsifiable. Um, but the when you have a hypothesis is where is this explanation that is posited, but you have but it has to be testable, falsifiable, right? And testable, and that can be tested to show that it could be wrong, or it can usually they try to prove it wrong. But then someone say they have a theory. It's not if it's not testable, it's not a theory.
no, it
It's
isn't.
just a concept or idea or opinion, basically.
Hypothesis.
Right? So, but the hypothesis for it to be necessarily a hypothesis, if it can be tested, yeah, it is a hypothesis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. But the claims of the Bible are not testable. Some
Oh no.
are, some are where they talk about have been shown to be wrong, but the
Yes.
God hypothesis is not testable because there's no, we don't have any examples of what a world is like without a God, or to compare our world with a God or whatever. So yeah, yeah,
So,
religion defies
so
all logic.
Phil says, don't be taking a walk in the middle of the stream. You are the Barbados tech guru. You must design your schedule around any technical difficulties Esther might have. Thank you, Steve McRae. Thank you. No, no, but
Uh,
no, we won't
I gotta take a
let him
walk.
go take a walk. Come on.
Yeah, for my
Afro,
heart.
the Afro human is correction. The amount of oxygen doesn't decrease as you go higher. It remains at 21%. It is
Uh,
the atmospheric pressure and
yeah,
density that
the
reduces
oxygen
as you go
reduces to,
higher. Okay. Something happens when you go higher.
yeah, but is the oxygen reduces to the, but it depends on how high the oxygen can decrease. I don't think it remains at 21% totally. It depends on the height, because by the time you reach like that yes, the density decreases, but I think the oxygen levels decrease too. Depends on the height.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
depends
but
on.
the atmospheric pressure does decrease, and the
Yeah.
density does for sure. Yeah,
There are people that have died going up, right?
yeah, but there's have to, those people have to take with them the, they usually carry oxygen things
Right.
to maintain
Breathing
the
apparatuses.
breathing apparatus. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow. Mm.
but because let me see, there's oxygen. There's oxygen. level
MV M6 V6 Cyclops. Hey, good to see you. The scientists are in the house. Ishak
altitude
and our science teacher, uh, Reverend Phil Grant. Some of us are
decrease
science
altitude.
clueless in science, except biology.
Ah,
My father said he wanted me to be a doctor because where I come from, your father would
oxygen
tell you
saturation.
you are going to be the doctor of the family. I was supposed to be the doctor of the family. My sister was supposed to be the
Mm.
lawyer of the family. So he got that bloody thing in my head. I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be the doctor. I'm going to be doctor. Yes.
Right.
When I was in school and
Surface
I
area.
studied chemistry and physics,
Mm,
I said, this not for me.
right.
No, 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 no.
See, yeah, no, no, it was correct. It does decrease. The levels do decrease.
You want to share what you're looking at?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me share this here. And this is from the. Let me bring up the. Well, yeah, share screen. Share screen here. Share. Right. So this is the
Right.
national. Oh gosh, the National Institute of Health. Higher
Mhm.
altitudes can cause low oxygen saturation levels or desaturation of an individual's blood. It happens because of low atmospheric pressure at high altitudes. But when there's someone at does high altitude decrease oxygen? The lower amount of oxygen in the air at higher altitudes causes high altitude illness. The amount of oxygen in the air goes down as you climb higher above sea level and becomes very low at altitudes above 8,000 feet. It does decrease,
Yeah, but I think
right?
what Ishak is saying,
But it
it
doesn't
may
remain at
decrease.
21%.
It says it still remains at 21.
No, it doesn't. That's the
Will it
oxygen
go below
saturation. It
21?
goes below 21.
Ah,
At sea level, it's 21%. But
okay.
if you go above 8,000 feet, it becomes very low because you're getting closer to
To
space, and
God,
because
to
of
God,
the
you're
density
getting
and
close to
pressures
God.
decrease. The pressure is related to the percentage too.
Okay, it's interesting, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, let's finish this
yeah. Okay.
cargo culture. This is not GMAT. Listen, look at us. We're nice and chilled. We're nice, just relaxing, just having a conversation. If we were doing GMAT by now, I know I would have felt my emotions. Just
Mm-hmm.
there's a way that
That
guy
too. This is also
reviewing
correct.
reviewing the G-Man content does something to me. By the time I'm done, I feel a sense of just, I don't know how to describe it. I feel I could punch a wall, punch something. He just knows how to get you so riled up. Oh no, I can't take much of that individual. I'm sorry. So let's finish
Mm-hmm.
this video here because tomorrow morning I have to be up
Okay,
early.
wait.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
Although the percentage of oxygen in inspired air is constant, different altitudes of fallout. Okay, I see what he's saying
Okay.
here because this person, one is saying that it does decrease the amount of oxygen, and that was the familyphysicians.org.
Mm-hmm.
This other one is saying that so it might be a combination, but if all the percent of oxygen in inspired air is constant at different altitudes, the fall atmospheric pressure higher decreases, yeah, which decreases the level that you inspire decreases the level. Yeah.
Okay, you know what we're gonna do?
Okay, but I will check
Okay,
specifically.
yes. Okay, this is homework.
Yeah,
Homework.
yeah,
I'm going to give you all homework. Go and find out what happens the higher you go with the oxygen.
yeah,
Anyway, let's finish this. Let's finish this
yeah, yeah,
video,
yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Phil?
yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, go
All
ahead.
right. So let me share.
Sure. Yeah. Let me stop.
Hot rendezvous. What are you on about? What's
Hi,
Steve
everyone. My name is Mark.
what's Steve McRae talking about? Esther has a hot rendezvous tomorrow. What's he talking about? Phil, I told you to put an eye on him.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, dog. Good night,
Well,
dog. Dog has had
good
to
night,
go.
though.
So Ishak says the Afro-Humanist,
Okay.
when you fly in pressurized aircrafts like the Boeing 737, you are breathing the
Mm-hmm.
oxygen outside the aircraft. The
Okay. Right.
compressor increases the pressure,
Oh,
but it doesn't add
add
oxygen
oxygen to the
to the
air.
air.
Okay. Right. Keeps
Okay.
the pressure
Look,
equalized. Yeah.
by the way,
Okay.
by the way, have a look at Ishak's picture. Can you see something
Yeah.
happening in there?
Yep. 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 Pilot.
I don't know if he's a pilot, but look, he
Maybe.
looks like he knows what he's talking about.
FPS is pilot. Yeah. Yep. And yep. Yep. Because yeah, it seems as if the yeah that they were saying the I know the pressure yeah decreases so the pressure doesn't allow the oxygen to get into the lungs as easy because it decreased pressure.
Adia's place makes an important point. Says, now
That's
I
what
see
I wasn't
how
right
easy
about
it
that
was
one.
for the Africans to sell themselves for some mirror and petty objects during slavery. Some things just seem strange to them. Adia's place. Amazing, isn't it? How things have changed and where we are right now, where things are at right now in the world. And with the internet, having the internet opened up the world to people. The things that you didn't know existed with the internet, now you see it all. Now oh wow, there's a place like this. I mean, look at me sitting here, trying to figure out the map of uh, New Guinea, right? Just click of a button, toop, toop, and done.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I don't know. I think I'm blessed. Will I say I'm blessed? Blessed to live in this generation. I am blessed every day of my life. I am blessed when I wake up in the morning and I lay my head to rest. How does rest go again? I am blessed. Right, guys. The African says
Wow.
I'm a jobless pilot.
Oh. Oh
A
man.
jobless
So
pilot.
sorry to
So
oh
jobless also means penniless.
penniless, yeah.
You know what, Ishak?
It,
I'll ask G-Man to
it,
find you a job
oh
at the
gosh. Oh no.
Blue Barrel shop.
Oh my goodness. Murder, murder, murder.
I'll find you
Oh
a job
gosh.
under the table working next to G-Man.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Oh, jobless pilots. Oh my. I'm sure you won't be jobless for a long time. Come on. You wouldn't be jobless for a long time. You will very soon. Oromorph for my testicle. You've got testicle infection. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dog. The internet has us come a long way. Yes, Ian Davenport. Yes, we have come a long way. The internet really opened up the world to us. Now we could see what's out there. This big world. Mm.
Mm-mm.
I would
Wow.
love to. The one thing I would love to do is just travel and visit lots of places. Yeah, but yeah, fingers crossed. We will see. Esther's voice is sublime. You sure about that? Mrs. Parker always looking for extra help at the orphanage. Yes, sign me up, PP Gates. Sign me up. The orphanage, sign me up. Whatever goes on there, just sign me up. I'll happily help out. His Holiness is here. In a way, their ritual worship did bring back the wealth and tech. They got a technologically equipped documentary crew to come to their island. Hmm. So I don't think that's what they wanted. They wanted the
Oh.
gifts. They wanted the blessings from the gods. Never mind. I hope they start to realize that it's all just in their heads. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I want to know, is actually going to stand in line to see the queen. To stand in line to go see the queen. Am I? I need to figure out because I live in the West Midlands. I do. So
Mm.
I'm not sure
Ah,
what's going to happen
okay.
if she's coming
Mm.
round this way. If she is, then yes. The answer is yes. I will definitely go and have a look. But I'll have to figure this. I have to figure it out. But we get the bank holiday on the 19th. We get a holiday on the day she's laid to rest. So
Mm.
on the
On
19th
Monday,
of September, yes.
Monday,
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
there was a rumor around here saying that Barbados getting bank holiday Monday too because but we are
Oh
republic.
yeah,
I don't
yes, you
know,
are. No,
but
but
we are republic. We just went republic last year, so I don't know
oh,
what
but you before last year you were under the sovereignty
the Queen.
of the Queen.
Yeah, before
Oh
November
wow,
the 30th.
interesting.
But some persons have been rumoring that we will get a bank holiday on Monday. I have not heard anything
Okay, Ian Davenport, good to see you. Thank you. I've got to. We're done. We're done already.
done.
So
Yeah.
Ian Davenport, you're not going to miss out on anything.
Okay.
After minutes, I would
Thanks,
be very
Ian.
proud to be the
Thanks.
chief pilot of G-Man. No,
We
I'm
prefer
not.
take off from Portland. I
Ishak,
don't think
Ishak,
no need
I'm
for
not.
fuel.
Ishak, no, I'm not going to sign up. I'm not going to sign off on
No.
that because G-Man has been known to run around like a little child, right? The people who have met him, he runs in excitement. He runs from
Oh my
one end
gosh.
to another. He's recording. He's so excited, right? So imagine you take him in a plane. Ishak, I'll be very terrified for you. He will be in the cockpit. He will be on the he'll be everywhere. So no, no. We will pray for takeoff and pray to land. No need for fuel. Okay. Jesus Christ. Can you imagine G-Man in a plane? Please no. I see Mrs. Parker. Hey, Mrs. Parker. Hello. Oh my God. Imagine G-Man in a plane. Oh goodness. You how would you how are you going to get the seat belt on him? The man just cannot sit still for 5 minutes. It has to be on the move. So Ishak, no. No. For your safety and for the safety of the others. Just no. He's better off on ground. Ground zero. That's perfect for G-Man. He can run back and forth. He can run to and fro. Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
I never pray and my head has not fallen once. Yes, no need for prayers. Prayers are just
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what it is. Bare wishful thinking.
He will be in the cockpit. He'll be
Oh my gosh.
under the pilot's seat. No, no, no.
No,
We
but
don't want
he
that.
will cause crash even before takeoff.
Oh, His Holiness says if I'm mega rich one day, I'm going to rent a plane and drop stuff off for them
Oh,
and make their prayers. The prayers will be answered. Yeah,
answered.
but I don't know if I. But then that would mean
Perpetrate the
yeah,
thinking.
exactly. That would make them now feel
Yeah.
like yes,
Oh,
we've waited
yes.
this long. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
all a waste.
Yeah.
We all know that there's no God or these people coming in the sky. They're not coming. So mm, I would rather, His Holiness, you go there, you take the gifts and let them know this has nothing to do with a God. This is just you who's come and given this thing. Don't drop it. Oh, listen, the next day
Mm-mm.
they'll be back there waiting.
Yeah.
No, so no. G-Man will comply with travel requirements. ID. I don't know about that. I do not laugh any harder at the cargo cults with their level of understanding than I do at the Christians at their level. Same, same. Exactly. That's why we watched the video that said Christianity is Christianity a cargo cult? Because they've got very, mirroring, very things that are similar. Hmm. G-Man with a captive audience. G-Man found Indigo at the orphanage. It only cost 1,000 to take her in for 2 nights. Oh, no, was it 2 nights or one night? Steve McRae, was it one night or 2 nights? I thought it was just one night. 2 nights? I thought it was just the one night. Okay, 2 nights. Has anybody else never had a life-threatening illness because it did not para? What does that mean? They did not para. What does that mean? So when is hey P when his mother SSat in a cargo? Tears. Listen, P. If I start a cargo cult, mine will come with jollof rice. I cook some wicked jollof rice. I do. So no tea and scones. No, mine will come with jollof rice and some chicken and some plantain and some nice yam
Mm-hmm.
and dumplings. So no tea and scones, unfortunately.
Yes, course. I tried to go and say cupcake. Mm.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
Peach says, I
Right.
want tea and crumpets cargo called run by. No, no, it's going to be the jollof rice. The jollof rice cargo cult.
Oh goodness.
Ah, anyway, guys, I've got to go.
This was
First thing
good.
tomorrow morning, the son has to
Mm-hmm.
be off to school. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to be up early, but it's a good job it's Friday tomorrow. So tomorrow night we can stay
Yeah.
on longer. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you
Okay.
all. This has
Thank
been
you all
really
for
good.
coming. Yep.
This has been really good learning about cargo cults. So,
Agriculture
Steve McRae, manager, what's the next topic? You need to let us know. What's the next thing we need to go research?
research. Yeah. Because
Isha.
before you go, because remember, this year actually shows somewhat how religions develop.
Hmm,
How
yes,
religions develop.
And evolve.
The thinking and evolve.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of thinking, the steps, and they see this thing in the sky and think, oh, these people going up there. And because of their lack of understanding of science, not having that science thing, that is why their human brain, which we know from anthropology, that's the case of religions develop. So I don't know why it is that people still holding on to these ancient beliefs as if, oh, they're ancient, so they are true. You
Okay.
know?
Doug, your prayers get answered. Make sure to remember me here in the West Midlands. Okay, just quick question before we go. Phil, behind you is a picture of the island. Is that Barbados? Is that anything to do with
No,
Barbados, or
that's
just
not
just
Barbados.
a
That's just
picture?
a general picture.
Just a picture. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful picture, I would say.
Yeah.
So, Ishak, we need to get G-Man to find Ishak a job. Maybe the same job he was trying to offer Rev, we could offer to Ishak, right? So, Ishak, get ready. We'll be getting you a job with your blue barrels. Anyway, guys, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Let's see here. 1 second. Sorry, I've got the thing queued up somewhere else. I don't know what I've done with it. Just 1 second. My oh gosh, Dragnuts is online. Oh, I know what I'm going to be doing after I finish here. I know what I shall be doing. Hang on.
God.
Hang on. Let's see. Sugar. Sorry, guys. I should have. There's a video I should have uploaded. Have I found it? Yes, I got it. It's right here. Right, here we go. Okay, guys. Good night, everyone, and see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Let's put this here. Okay.
Do you have a moment?
Oh, here we go. Just. Oh, never mind.
In this very second, I know you feel the beat.
Bye, dog.
Do you feel the rhythm all the way?
So we're going to go and see Doug. Let's go and see his massive nut.
Can you see
We Steve McCray.
this world will be okay.
What next topic is what you be up to when your son is at school? Tell Steve McCray to mind his business.
Mind your business, Steve.
There you go.
You just be vibing, reaching for something within you. I know you feel this movement right here. You just be vibing, reaching for something.
I'll let you hold it if you're gentle. Okay.
Nights in California, fly